Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. and I want to welcome you all to the September regular meeting of the West Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency. Our first item is the roll call. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Director Ledesma?
Here.
Chair Ramos?
Here. Thank you. Ms. Hilcala will join us soon. I should say, pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N29-20, members of the West Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency and staff will participate in this meeting via teleconference to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Members of the public are asked to watch the meeting via live stream and to submit comments in writing by 8 a.m. On this date. So with that, I would like to make one adjustment to the agenda where we will move the consent items up to after the report from closed session. And then the first item is whether there's any presentation from the public on matters not on the agenda. Clerk, do we have any public members with comments?
There was no public comment.
Okay, thank you. The second item would be report out on the closed session. Council Nevis.
Good morning. The board met in closed session this morning on the two pieces of litigation listed on the closed session agenda, conferred with counsel and took no reportable action.
Thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda with two items. One is a consideration of resolution 2109-01, acceptance of real property rights from Yolo County. And the other would be approval of our July 15th, 2021 special meeting minutes. Is there any questions or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the recommended action.
Thank you, and I will second that motion. And would the clerk call the roll?
Director Ledesma?
Yes.
Chair Ramos?
Yes. Thank you. I assume motion would carry. So with that, we'll move back up to the report on monthly and year-to-date revenue and expenses.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Can everybody hear me okay too, by the way?
Yes, Mark.
Okay, thank you. This report is for June 2021, and starting with Fund 870, the starting balance for the month was approximately $5 million. There was no appreciable revenue for June in 870. Most expenses for the month are, the heavy expenses for the month are the O&M distributions for the second distribution of the flood assessment. Total expenditures in 870 were $355,000, which left the ending balance at $4.7 million approximately. In Fund 870, the starting balance was $3.9 million. There was a minor revenue. It was an RFMP true-up payment for the grant work there of $70,000, and expenses were $872,000. Most of the expenses this month are consultants getting their invoices in for year-end accrual. So appreciate that they did that. The ending position for 871 was approximately $3.1 million. Overall, with Fund 257 accounted for, the agency's overall cash position is $9.9 million for the month of June. The current position is around $9.8 million. And that change reflects between the June report and now. It reflects the third installment of the flood assessment that accrues back to June, and then offsetting expenses for that amount. That's why it's pretty much flat between June and August or early September. A couple of things we've got going on right now. We've got approximately almost $2 million in true-up payments due from the state that we're working through right now, and we hope to show those at the next reporting period. We'll probably sweep out Fund 257. We've earned everything in that account. Previously, we had offset our retention or partial retention release with the accrued interest, so we were able to, wash that out. And then on quarter 38, we earned the remaining advance, which was about $1.2 million that was on hand. So we'll be sweeping that out. We'll be getting $2 million from the state. The third assessment came in mid-August, and that brought our totals for the year to $5.6 million in assessments. So $5 million and change for the secured rolls, about $55,000 for the direct billing, and a write-off of $47,000 for a total of $5.6 million. We missed a meeting last month, so we're kind of like a month behind on the reporting. But since it was the end of the year, we'll report June this month, and then next month we'll have July and August together, and some of these accruals should hit the ending balance, and we'll see a little bit more healthier position, and we should be brought up to the end of the fiscal year end. That's about all I have right now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Chris?
Yeah, just Mark, on the true up from the state, is there any, it's not unusual, right? It's just, this is just the normal part of just receiving payments from them.
Yeah, it is. And, we've had a lot of staff changes over at the state. So up until recently, we were really tracking closely, temporally, right? They're keeping pace, but they've gotten behind. Quarter 40 goes through June of this year, and we're just still truing up 38, 39, and 40 together. Plus, we've done some work in reallocating some costs. So we had a changes memo in our favor, about $100,000.
Right.
So once DWR staff catches up with us, we'll make a payment request. So this is all pretty normal. I think the only thing that's not quite typical with this grant is that the state will advance fund it. And, they've been doing a terrific job that way, giving us millions and millions of dollars up front so we can operate. So there's nothing untoward about it other than, everybody's seeing new staff changes. I think this year, 5 of my colleagues went out on maternity leave.
Oh my goodness.
We just new people coming into organizations now, having babies and learning new job skills. So there's just and COVID, of course. So there's a lot of changes that's kind of having impact on throughput, so to speak, on reporting and stuff.
Well, I was going to say, a state agency that's willing to forward advance millions of dollars, could you please have them call their friends over at Caltrans? I think we have a similar issue, that they're going the opposite direction. We're trying to get them unwound about. So we have a bridge to build. That's a different story. But thanks. Thanks for the update.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, this is the point. I apologize to you and to the rest of the staff. Appreciate all you're doing, but I have a little bit of a family thing I need to go care for.
No problem.
I appreciate your.
Hope it works out.
Yeah, I will. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. But we'll move on. The rest of it is the agenda is just reporting. So I'll move to item 4A, which is the WSAFCA project update.
Good morning, Chair Ramos. I just have a few updates. There's not a whole lot of activity going on right now, but in terms of the Yolo East Bypass project, we did receive comments and responded back to comments from the Army Corps of Engineers Office of Counsel on the environmental document. We're anticipating that that's going to get scheduled for a public meeting soon, but it may not happen until the end of October or November to make sure that we have ample time for the public noticing of that meeting. Just an update in case you didn't know, Congresswoman Matsui has a new chief of staff. So that did occur between the last meeting and today. And then, well, we have also worked on updating our cap-to-cap flood program paper. We worked through the Chamber of Commerce and inserted ours along with some of the other AFCAs in preparation for that. Our message remains the same. We need additional construction monies to be able to build out all of the Yellow East bypass through in a single construction season if possible. It's all designed, it's finished design. And it will also allow us to, the allocation that we do have is designated for part of that construction as well as to initiate in Sac River North Levee. Again, we're still pushing for additional funds through either the bipartisan infrastructure bill or the Reconciliation Act if possible. And that's what I have to report.
Okay. Is there any other items at all as far as the updates? If that's
Hey,
okay.
Chair Ramos, just one thing to note. I believe there's a bill that has yet to be signed by the governor that would extend the ability to continue with the remote meetings for public meetings. So we'll certainly let the board know prior to the start of the next meeting whether that will need to be an in-person meeting or whether we'll be continuing with the remote style of meetings. But so stay tuned for that.
Okay, so that's a bill that was passed. It's on his desk now, I assume.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I understand.
Okay. Okay, well, either way, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, okay. Any other comments from anyone? Being the only director here, I have no comments at this time. So with that, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.